I've reached an important milestone. It's my 1-year Portland anniversary. I get really mixed reactions on that. Like, a lot of people are like, woo, and most of them are just like, fuck you. So that silence was totally fine. Portland is a fine city. You can get pho after 9 p.m. and the buses go other places. So it's fine. I've had kind of a tough time settling in a little bit. There's some things that make me really mad about Portland. That everybody says, keep Portland weird. Or Portland's so weird. Portland's weird, like a 13-year-old girl thinks she's like so random. Which is to say, not at all. I think Portland, like, calling Portland weird is just like a fun, sexy way to say we have a really underserved homeless population here. Because it's like, that's not weird. That's like poverty that we're ignoring. I know this because I used to work at transition projects not far from here. In the day, yeah, I'm a really good person, guys. Eat your heart out. I wouldn't. So I worked at transition projects and I worked in the day center. So my whole job was to just make sure, like, connect people with resources, get them on the housing list, and then there's shrug. I don't know. So on my first day there, I was feeling like really competent and like I was kicking ass. And this person comes in to check in on the housing list, and he's like, what number am I? And I'm like, 1 million. I didn't say that. He was number like 300. And I looked up, feeling very proud of myself for accessing the housing list appropriately, that I forgot to look at him. And I looked up and I realized that his ear was falling off. And I was like, oh my God, sir, are you okay? Once again, very good person. And he was like, why? Do you think I need to go to the hospital? And I was like, you need to Van Gogh to the hospital. I was shortly thereafter let go. I talk a lot of shit about Portland, and I know that. But things have been going really well for me lately. I have a great job. I just moved into a beautiful house, and I quit drinking. Bravo! Woo! You know, it hasn't been very long since I quit drinking, but I already feel just so much better than you. I had to quit drinking. It wasn't, I didn't like run my car into a park recently. Within the past 4 years, I have not driven my car through a park. So I've been doing really well. But I'm a really anxious person, and alcohol just like really amps up my anxiety. Does anybody else here suffer with anxiety? See, that should make me feel better, but like, guys, that's kind of my thing. So if you could like tone that down. Anyway, it's really important, I think, to bring to the front mental illness and anxiety as a mental illness. But for those of you that don't know, having anxiety is a lot like having my 8th grade PE teacher in my head all the time while I'm driving a car whose gas is on E. Like, she's just like, damn it, Becker, go faster. Go better. Think about a failure from 5 years ago for a couple minutes. Circle it back, do 10 laps. Her name was Mrs. Rasmussen. And if I could have dinner with anybody living or dead, it would be Mrs. Rasmussen, and she would be dead. But like I said, things are going really, really well for me right now. I did just move. I moved in with my lifelong best friend, who was also one of my best drinking buddies. So we're sort of renegotiating our relationship. And let me just give you a little bit of background about how we used to live our lives. We decided that for a while we just wouldn't have jobs and work on a screenplay, which actually just meant she sold plasma, I did medical testing, and then she had this old checkbook from an account that she'd closed, and so we would go to different grocery stores in the city and buy 40s and just all sorts of stuff, barbecue materials, and we'd call them bad check barbecues. And what we would do with the 40s is you crush up some rosemary and put it in the 40, and we called it an English rose because we're very classy. And a lot of friends have asked, well, what happened after that? Didn't you guys get arrested? It's well, Washington Mutual, as a financial institution, closed. So we won. Big banks, gotcha. But so Nora asked me recently, so as you're deciding to become sober, do you want me to keep my alcohol up in my room? And I was like, girl, hiding your drinking is my thing. I don't need you to do it too. On a different note, Russia is in control of all of us. We know that. We accept that as a collective. So in the early aughts, we stopped calling French fries. Do you guys remember this? We started calling them Freedom Fries, Freedom Vanilla, Freedom Toast. And what I don't get is why we're not doing the same thing with Russia, because holy shit, they want to kill us. But I kind of figured out why not, because it would be what? Freedom nesting dolls? Freedom roulette? You go to the bar with your buddies and you get a nice round of white freedoms? Oh my God. That's why it's too obvious. It's all about white freedoms. We also bombed Syria. And okay, when stuff like this happens, it makes me so fucking angry. The dumb shit that people say about tragedies, like what's going on in Syria right now. People say oh my God, I'm praying for their families. Praying for you. It's 2017. We have self-driving cars. Why the fuck would we let Jesus take the wheel on this one? The other thing that people say is the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. It's well, I've known a lot of good guys with penises, and I've still been pregnant 3 times. So, yeah. One last time, let's give it up for the That's What She Said Feminist Comedy Collective. And let's real quickly also give it up for my parents who are in the audience for giving me enough confidence to be up here, but not enough to pursue a higher art form. I'm Alayna Becker.